At least for the last 100 years, the way that most people built wealth was real estate. The tone of government and the movement towards rent control is going to take that away.
To get that upside, to get that edge, requires...
Welcome back, Mr. Graham Stephan. How you doing, sir?
Good.
I heard a crazy rumor that you are quitting real estate investing, and I just had to hear from you. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm done with it.
Done?
I'm done. Dude, I sold one of my places in West LA.
Sure.
I don't know if I mentioned this to you. The one home I was like 50-50. Should I sell it? Should I not? Sold it.
Okay.
Got 3 offers, all over asking.
Wow.
And I feel so good. It's a weight lifted off my shoulders. It's
Now,
so nice.
was this a problem property? Was it just because it's LA with rent control? What was it about this property that was like, this one's got to go?
LA with rent control. That's all it is. It didn't make a good rental. It's the property that I bought in 2020 for myself.
Right, with the little
And-
ADU in the back? Was it that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the place. Like, I loved it. But when I look at how much it's costing me every month and then what I could get for rent, how much I would make from that, is it worth it? The answer is no. It's just not worth
Okay.
it at all.
So was it negative cash flow?
I would actually make a decent amount of money. I mean,
Okay.
for West LA, I would be making on my cash 5.5% to 6%.
That's
Which, hey,
in
for,
LA,
for
it's
that
not-
area
it's not bad.
is so good because I had a 2.875% mortgage on it. Like, so good. And my property tax basis was
Yep,
low.
Prop 13,
But the thing
yeah.
is, once I get a tenant in there, the rent control is so strict that I lose complete access to my property.
Yep.
100%. The other thing is that I could only increase the rents by $60 because they have a cap at how much you could increase the rent. $60.
Sure.
$60. So everything else goes up more than my rent. The other thing is that once a tenant goes in there, I can't get them out.
Yep.
So the only way to get them out legally, because I'm not a resident,
Correct.
is I have to move back in as a primary residence. And then I also have to pay them a relocation fee of $38,250. So as much as I would have liked to have just kept the property and rented it, there's zero benefit for me to deal with the hassle for that.
So this is 100% of rent control. This is why.
Yes. Yeah, 1,000% rent control. And it works if I were to be living in the main house as a primary residence and then renting out the guest house. Totally fine, no issues. But the fact that I don't live there,
Yeah.
all these issues, all these problems, it's not worth it. I don't want the stress. So I sold it. And it's just nice. Like, I don't have to worry anymore of like, I get phone calls of like, hey, the pump burnt out in
Right.
the fountain in the front of the house. And then I'm thinking, oh man. And I fix it myself because I don't want to pay some dude like $500 to fix
Right.
a fountain that I could do myself in an hour for $30.
Right.
You know, just it's stupid stuff like this. Or like, hey, there's some termite in the windowsill. I gotta get that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want phone calls. I don't want nothing. I want nothing. I want to wake up and have nothing to do.
So I guess there's 2 things I want to pull back on because, again, some people hear you're quitting real estate investing. And, again, you are the inspiration for me, frankly, right? One rental at a time is because of you.
Yeah.
And they're like, if Graham's not doing it anymore, it doesn't work. But I hear what you're saying now is it's a lot about the rent control and just simply the restrictions in LA County. I've told people for years, if you gave me a house in LA County, I would sell it immediately for the same reason. It's like communist, right? I don't have any control. I can't do anything. I can't raise rents. Taxes, insurance go up thousands of dollars. I can raise rent $60.
Yeah, but that's the direction that it seems like almost every city is going. It's not getting further away. It's going closer to that, no matter where you are in the
Yeah,
United
you see
States.
Seattle. Seattle did something similar. Okay.
Everyone is. And so I just see the writing on the wall. I noticed this a few years ago where this narrative switched. That landlords all of a sudden,
landlords are evil.
They were evil and they're being blamed for every problem. Every housing issue is not that Susie and John bought their first property that they've been saving for and they competed with other owner users and they drive the price up $100,000. No, it's the landlord who bought in years ago, who's not selling, who's raising the rents on the tenants because their expenses go up.
Right.
I started to see that shift. And then that's when I was like, okay, maybe let's just keep an eye on this. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then Los Angeles just passed a new rent control provision that you could only increase the rents 90% of CPI at the most to
that.
a maximum of like 3 to 4%, depending on like what the
minimum is 1, the max is 4. It's wild.
I think the max is now 3. I think 4 is under like certain conditions you could do as much as 4,
Right.
Or 90% of CPI, like whatever's like less or whatever's more, whatever that. It's just I see the writing on the wall, and I see the housing issues are not getting better.
Sure.
And then I see politicians seem to think that if they point the finger at landlords, they get votes, which is true.
It's a game, yeah, of course.
It's true. It's just like, people shouldn't own more than one house. Landlords should not be raising the rent. And I don't see us going away from that. I see us moving further to that because it's popular, and I just don't want the stress, the hassle,
Sure.
and it's just not that lucrative anymore. I mean,
they're taking away the upside.
With interest rates, with property taxes, with insurance, I just see it as not a viable investment for the amount of time and resources and ROI that you get. And so I look at the landscape of this and I say, well, do I want to make 6.5% to 7% on my money, investing in something safe, secure, consistent, reliable, or do I want to make 5.5%, investing in something safer, more diversified? I pick the safer. To me, it's a peace of mind. I put a 10% ROI on peace of mind right now.
Well, I think there's a lot to be said with that. Again, you have a lot of options that maybe not the average folks have, right? You have a YouTube channel income brand that you're building that produces a fair amount of active income. Do you think that what you're looking at now is right for the average person? Because at least for the last 100 years, the way that most people built wealth was real estate. Are you saying that the tone of government and the movement towards rent control is going to take that away?
Probably. It already has. Like, I see the upside of real estate right now not making a lot of sense with, like I said, mortgage rates as high as they are, competition as high as it is. The houses are scarce right now because of a lack of supply. To get that upside, to get that edge, requires so much attention, focus, discipline to be able to find that one deal. And then when you find that right deal, you also have to fix it up and add value to it. It exists.
Yes.
There are money-making opportunities out there, but I just see it as it's no longer this thing where you could spend like 2 months looking for deals and find this thing and, spend 3 months. It's like everything now is more.
Right.
Even fixing it up. It's like now you're talking about materials that have gone up 50%. Labor, which has gone up maybe double from where it was 6 years ago. And so I just don't see, for most people out there, that opportunity in real estate that used to exist.
Okay.
Now, we talked to someone recently who said that LA multifamily has taken such a huge hit, and many places are selling for a lower price today than they were 15 years ago. And maybe that is the opportunity that people should be looking at. If you can stomach dealing with the city of Los Angeles, that could be a really good opportunity. And I don't disagree because, like they say, when there's blood in the streets, now is the best time to buy, and there is. Yeah,
well, let's poke at that a little bit more, because one of the things I think that we can both agree on is rent control has been tried, or versions of that have been tried for decades in lots of different parts of the country. And generally speaking, I mean, you can look at New York as probably the prime example, right? New York currently has 50,000 vacant units because it's unprofitable for landlords to repair. Obviously they just elected a communist for mayor, so that might get worse, who knows? But again, at the end of the day, at some point, I think it breaks the other way. Like, just like you said, LA, frankly, San Francisco, right? San Francisco was a disaster area for 2 or 3 years. Vacancies were through the roof. And if you look at what's happening now in San Francisco, rents are exploding because of the AI boom and tech coming back. So it's interesting to me, specifically around commercial real estate. You and I talked about it when you interviewed me.
Yeah.
There was a lot of syndicators that came in because it was easy money and they overpaid for value add B's and C quality. That stuff's coming due, right? We got $1 trillion of commercial real estate coming up that's worth less than the loan. So all the equity's gone. There's going to be opportunity there, whether it's in LA or other markets. But the point is, real estate's never supposed to be easy. I think from 2020, certainly 21 to 24, it was just easy, right? Money was cheap. Money was being chasing fewer deals. And it always took me 50 offers to get a good deal.
See, I don't think 2020 was easy. I thought like 2012 through 2018 was like the easy time because no one was looking at it. 2020 hit when interest rates dropped. You were now competing with everyone else. And the person we just had on our podcast, Ken McElroy.
Yeah, Ken McElroy, yep.
We just had him on, and he said that he hadn't bought any deals since 2021 because he would go in at a price that he thought made sense. But a syndicator would come in and pay millions of dollars more because they just had to buy something. And so he said, we didn't buy anything. And he said, this is the first year that he's started to make offers. because a lot of the syndicators are now getting out of the game.
And he just picked something up in Henderson about 9 months ago, right? So this is the problem with real estate. Again, I think there's a time, this is my second cycle, right? I was involved in 2000 to 2008. And again, 2006 was very much like the last couple of years. It's easy money, prices only go up, just all the silly people come out. But ultimately that ends in a crash or value correction. You just got to go find where that is. And I do think it's going to be in multifamily like Ken talks about. And again, I think Ken's a great example because he does this for a living, right? So he didn't buy for 3 years. It's not that he didn't try to buy. He was just outbid by millions of dollars. And now Ken's out picking up deals, 80 cents on the dollar, bought something in Henderson right down the street from where I live. And again, I think that's what people need to realize is there's always opportunity out somewhere, but it takes work. Right, it takes work. So let's talk about when you thought it was easy, right? So 2012 to 2020-ish or 16?
Yeah, really 2018 was the last time that I bought and fixed up an investment property.
So talk about the environment in 2012 to 2015. So that would be, this is all LA County, right? So 2012, 13, that's pretty close to the bottom, right? Kind of rolled over.
It started to be 2010 was when I started writing offers. 2011 was when I started closing escrows.
Makes sense.
2014 or 15 was when I bought my first single family home in West Los Angeles that I fixed up. 2016 was when I bought a duplex. Maybe that was 2017, 2018, I bought another. Give or take a year on those. So I don't remember.
All out of the MLS or are these off market?
MLS.
All on the MLS.
All MLS, but I was getting email notifications immediately as they would come up. So I'd always be at my computer. So I see them within 5 minutes at the most. I just get a pop-up. Oh, what's this? Check it out. I knew exactly every property that would come up in these little districts that I wanted to buy into.
Yeah, little buy boxes as I call them.
And so I knew exactly what it was worth. I'd just drive by it immediately. And if I liked it, I would just find a way in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about today. So if real estate's not the way for most people to get rich, what is? How do people get rich today? I mean, the biggest thing I fear we're losing in the next generation is hope. And if you don't have hope, you've got nothing, right? So where's the hope? Where can the average Jane and Joe get rich?
Well, I've been saying it for a year, and now people are making a killing off of this, but clipping agencies are doing so well for like podcasts like this. Talking to you, Josh. Clippers are making so much money to be able to go and do that. Now, the issue now is that there's a lot more competition than when I was first talking about this like 2 years ago. It was like this open opportunity because no one was doing it. And now you have these online communities from people around the world all compete with each other. But I think clipping communities, fantastic. It's not something that AI could quite get right. There are fantastic options out there. Like Opus Clips is really good, but when you have someone with an eye for a clip, that's an opportunity. But at the end of the day, it just comes from like you got to be better than average. Do something that there's high demand for, and just be really good at it. Like if you're just okay at something, it's not going to go anywhere. Even if it's like a new industry, like you got to be better than everyone else. Well,
that's the thing that I think I learned from our first conversation with you is when you find your thing, whether it's fish and aquariums or YouTube, you go all in on that. Would you say you have a balanced life or not balanced?
I don't know. I don't think it's balanced, but I don't really care for balance either. Like to me, I just do whatever feels good that I should be doing in the moment. So whatever that is, like some days I just feel like all I want to do is work. I don't want to do a single other thing. And maybe that lasts many days or like a few weeks at a time. And then other times I just don't feel like it. Okay. And so I try to run with that. When I'm feeling good about something, I just go for it.
How long have you been married now?
How long has it been? 1.5 years.
Have you noticed anything being married for 18 months versus, pre-marriage, post, where the work-life balance demands? Are you happier, stressful? Anything change after being married?
I'm always at like the exact same level, almost no matter what. Like when you average it out, my baseline is always just like pretty consistent.
That's good.
So overall, I mean, I've scaled back from a lot of things, but purely because you start seeing both diminishing returns in terms of like you keep doing the same thing. You don't either get as much progress from doing that thing, or also just moving on from that. Like I've scaled back a lot on making YouTube videos and it feels great. Like I no longer need to post 3 times a week, once a week, once every 10 days, plenty. So, but again, that just feels right in the moment.
Good. Well, let's get back to Jane and Joe, because again, I want them to realize they have a chance. So obviously they can become clippers or learn what that is and that activity. So is it just about finding a niche or market and becoming the best or in the top 10% of something? Is that how someone should think about getting rich these days?
Probably. Because I don't think you're going to do it realistically working for someone else. I mean, you could get a consistent income. Hopefully you get that consistent income and then do something on the side that you could build up. But like, I think AI is going to crush just like so many people's current livelihoods.
Really?
That can just be either expedite, like one person who said it. Someone recently was talking to us who was an AI sort of like pioneer, and he was saying that it's not necessarily going to take jobs, like you're not going to be replaced outright, but when you go into a job, you're now going to be expected to do the work of like 5 people because of what you're able to accomplish. I could see that. Like, instead of having to write one blog, now you could write 10 in the same amount of time. So they just need to hire fewer people. So I think we're going in that direction. And so I think the only way like to make it like a ton of money is just to get really hyper fixated and good in one specific thing that you're interested in.
Right. I call that becoming elite. Right.
Yeah.
Become elite at your chosen thing.
Yeah.
And then go get just rewards. Because that's the key. What I've seen throughout my sales career is the top 10, 15, 20% make most of everything.
Yeah.
And the rest are just struggling, and they've just bounced from job to job, kind of existing. Right? If you want to be the best, you got to lean in and really, really get good at it.
Yeah. Someone's pitching lately. I don't know who's behind masterminding this, but I get these emails daily, many times a day, and I get these DMs probably 5 to 10 times a day from different people.
Wow.
Every single one of them says, "Hey, we're like high ticket closers. If you have like a product or something like that, let me sell it and I'll get a commission on it."
It's funny. I get those too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have a high commission, so
But
leave me alone.
But that's the other thing. And then I also get people that reach out and say, "Hey, you don't have this thing.
Yes.
Let's create this high ticket sales, whatever
Widget.
it is, and let's split it and I'll fund you." And then they say, "Oh, you don't want to make $1 million a year extra with no work whatsoever? You don't want to do that?" And no.
I got the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm okay with that. It's funny. That's pretty funny. So again, if you're average Jane and Joe, do you still believe in house hacking?
I think that's the only way to own real estate anymore. Like, when you really look at the numbers, it doesn't make a lot of sense to buy something.
Rent versus own comparison, you mean?
It really doesn't. And unless you're planning to live there for like 20 years, usually renting is the financially better option from a mathematical standpoint. Just, we're going to take emotions aside. Renting is usually the better option financially in the short term. And
Certainly
I think
in the short term,
if you want
yes.
to buy something, house hacking is probably the only way you could justify owning a property and not having it cost an arm and a leg. Like, think of it like being able to buy a house and section it off and rent out the other half of it, and that covers your payments. Like that's the ideal. And I think it's going to be more common for people to be able to like rent out a bedroom for supplemental income.
Yeah. What do you think of co-living? Again, I hear there's a lot of folks pushing the co-living is going to be the answer going forward. Incomes aren't going to grow. House prices are going to go through the roof, and you're going to have to do co-living. And co-living is just rent by the room. Do you think that's going to be the answer for some folks?
It's roommates.
Roommates, yes.
They call them roommates.
It's like, college dorms.
It's so funny. I say to Jack all the time, like, "Oh, you're roommates." He's like, "No, my housemates."
Oh, of course. It's higher level.
Housemates, yeah. Like, they're roommates. No, housemates.
Housemates, okay. My bad.
I think it's probably going to... Here's the thing. When people say, "I can't live in Los Angeles because rent is $3,000 a month," the first thing I do is I look on Craigslist and I say, "Here's a 1-bedroom. They're asking $1,300 a month for this thing.
Right.
And it's in a prime location. You're telling me rent's on a farm. Rent that for $1,300 a month. Have them be in charge of all the problems. You get $1,300 a month for a bedroom. Why do you need more than a bedroom? Who cares? You have to share it with people. You save so much money by doing that. I think it's a huge opportunity. And people are sleeping on the amount of Facebook ads that I see to rent a bedroom. It is so affordable if someone is just willing to share their space. But no one wants to share the space because it's uncomfortable, or maybe you get a bad roommate. Well, guess housemate. But guess what? Then you leave and you pick up and you rent somewhere else. I guarantee there are so many ways that you can save money on something like this. I just think it makes sense. Stack the cash,
Yes.
invest it, grow your wealth. Let someone else cover the majority of the payments. Let it be their issue. And they're doing something smart too, where if you have a high payment, you may as well rent out a bedroom for $1,300 a month. It's free money at that point.
Yeah, I like it. So one thing I'm thinking about is you had an interview with Charlie Kirk, I think about a month or so before the unfortunate event. And I think you traveled to him, as I remember the video.
Did. Arizona.
How was that? How was his team? How was that conversation?
Really good. We had been trying to get him on for about 2 years, maybe 3 years at that point. And I don't know how this happened, but Jack somehow got in touch with this guy who put him in touch with Charlie directly. Oh, wow. And Jack and Charlie would just text about either meeting up, YouTube, scheduling a podcast. And it was a lot of back and forth. And then he was hosting something in Vegas. We were trying to get him on then. His schedule changed like by the minute. It would be like, I could do it. And then a few hours later, this thing came up or this thing went late. And we could. So it took 3 years of consistently following up every few months and being annoying. And we eventually got that interview with him. And it was great. We drove down to Arizona. His team was incredible. His office was way bigger than expected. It was like this entire office park. And it was hard to find the building because there were so many buildings. And I guess they were all him.
Wow.
And they take us to the studio. Our time was slotted for like 2 p.m. And he shows up and he's like, he gives us his full attention, which I think is really unique. It's sometimes rare because some people will be distracted or they'll have things going on. You could tell mentally that they're like, okay, so I got to do this. I got to do this. What else do I have to do? And I'm guilty of it too. But you could tell that he gave his undivided attention to us.
Yeah, there's a couple of memories I have from that interview because that was my only introduction to Charlie Kirk. I didn't know who he was until I watched him on your video. But near the end of that conversation, or at least at the end of the video, I don't know, maybe it was clipped up different. There was talk about going on a first date with a lady and whether or not you go Dutch.
Pay on the first date?
Yeah. Well, have you had any chance to think about your answer and would you change it today?
No, my answer, I was so firm. It's okay to split the cost. But now I did say that ended up getting cut out a lot of the clips that with Macy, I did pay on the first date. But here's the thing. I had so many dates that if I could go back where I did pay and just split the check, I would have because they went nowhere. And now I'm like dishing out $60 for a meal with someone I'm never going to see again.
Yeah.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. I think it's a confidence thing. It's a vibe thing. If they like you, I think splitting the check is not going to be the deal breaker. Where they're like, this dude is perfect. He's 6'2". He makes $500,000 a year. He's funny. But we split the check. I'm not going to see him again. I don't think it matters. I think, listen, if objectively, it's probably better. They're going to, of course, like it to not have to pay. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially if you're in your early 20s. I don't think it makes a difference. You may as well just save the money and just stack the cash. Then when you're 30, you're going to have all this money saved. And then, sure, you could pay the bill if you want to.
Yeah.
But that'll be a small fraction of what you saved. You know?
Now, does it matter if you are the one that initiated the date? Like if you asked, and I guess we'll talk Macy, your wife. And again, we don't have to talk about her situation. But does it change if you ask them out on a date?
Probably. But then again, I really don't think it matters that much. I think
different generations.
Ideally, you shouldn't be doing like a dinner date on the first date.
I agree with that. Yeah, so, coffee or something. Yeah.
Not even coffee. Honestly, the best first date would probably be if you're on a budget. Just find a place that has good happy hour drinks.
Okay.
Or happy hour mocktails if you guys aren't drinking.
Yeah.
That's it. Like a $7 to $8 drink. And you figure out really quickly if you like this person or not. And if you don't like her, you're out like $20.
Agreed.
Not the end of the world.
Right. I like that. Well, let's switch back to YouTube. You've been on YouTube. You started in 2016. Is that right?
Yeah.
What's been this has almost been a decade.
9 years. It'll be 9 years December 26th.
Oh, now I like it. 9 years December 26th. What's changed over 9 years?
Gosh, it's gotten a lot more competitive. It's really interesting. Back in the early days of YouTube, I could make a video on anything and it just gets views because it's so like, I made a video about compound interest. I do that today and people would be like, Graham, what are you doing? This is awful. Like, duh. But back then I made the video like how to turn $1 into $10 and it was like compound interest explained. And back then people were like, whoa, this is crazy. This is awesome. I can't believe this. And so I could just go down all these basic topics and like how to make passive income, how to get a side hustle, how to do, like it was all new. And then more people flooded into the space and got very competitive, which forced you to like, okay, how can I get a better topic than the 50 other people who are making the same video as me? All right, now we got to do that. And then it's, okay, well, they covered all of this stuff, so what else is there? Breaking news. How could I get a better breaking news video than someone like Meet Kevin, who's live streaming it
all day
and covering it so fast? Okay, well, I can't compete with Kevin on speed, but maybe I could like dumb it down a bit more and add some like visuals and edit, and post it later in the day, So it forces you to keep figuring out like, okay, now what's going on? How could I make my video stand out in a sea of other videos? And it's funny now too, and we're all somewhat guilty of this, but sometimes I'll notice that my videos look very similar to other videos and vice versa, where sometimes you just have one topic that people will keep remaking, and every single time you see this format just now works. And so if you don't do that format, your videos just won't get pushed. And so there's a bit of a relationship there where you have to see what's going on, what people are clicking on, and just like feed into that.
Lean into that.
And then every now and then someone will throw a curveball that'll spin things out into a new direction. It's like, okay, that's the thing.
Okay.
For a while it was why your net worth explodes after $100,000. That was originally a video that was posted 3 or 4 years ago. And this guy's video did okay. Someone else remade the video, blew up for him. And then 5 other people remade that video, blew up for all the 5 people. And now I see like, wait a second, people are clicking on this. There's obviously demand for this. Let's do this video. And so you just have to be, like I'm always on YouTube. I always see what's going on. And it's become very trendy for certain topics. And then every now and then one will break the mold, and every video you post either has to conform with that, or you try to throw a curveball that might not hit but might break the mold. And it seems like now people are going back to just authentic conversations like this, no editing. And
I like that, no editing.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate that. And it's going back to smaller channels. So YouTube is really making an emphasis right now. They got rid of the follower count.
That's what I was going to ask
on YouTube.
next.
And so what they're trying to experiment with is pushing smaller channels who just have good metrics. And I've noticed when you start a brand new YouTube channel, there is a temporary push that YouTube will give you to try to either encourage you to make videos or to see if there's an audience to reach. And it seems like the algorithm is now prioritizing smaller channels to get pushed. And I get it. I understand why. I think it's a good thing that you don't have the top 10 channels getting all the views.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. It seemed like for a long time it was definitely subscriber-based, but now they say it's interest-based.
It is. So we had this whole meeting with YouTube, and their long-term vision is that instead of having one creator get 50 million views, we're going to have all of these niche interests that maybe they only have 10,000 subscribers or 20,000 subscribers, but their audience is so dedicated. And what they've noticed is that niche interest content is doing better for audiences who are really dedicated to it. And so for me, that would be, well, I really like watches. And so I get all of these watch reviews from these smaller creators, and I watch them because they're really good. Or reef aquariums. I get these people who set up their reef aquariums. They give updates on their reef aquariums, and I subscribe to them, and I just watch their videos.
Nice.
And so you have all of these like smaller channels that now gain this following. And I think YouTube long term, they want you to be able to make a full-time living, 20 to 30,000 subscribers, niche interest, whatever it is, but be able to do that full time. And so, and you find this throughout everything. Like there are boating YouTube channels, Lego YouTube channels, any hobby you could imagine. Everything exists, and you could find a whole community based on it.
So I want to poke at that a little bit more, because what I heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you think, or maybe even YouTube said, they look at creators in these little niche categories and they want them to make a full-time living.
Oh, yeah.
They want them to be the thing that they do.
Yep, and they're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to make a lot of money on YouTube. And they're doing that by really engaging with communities. Like now you have that community tab that you could have. They're really trying to push the memberships and compete with Patreon.
Sure.
And they're trying to do sponsorships directly from the analytics tab, like the monetization tab. So they want people to reach out with these opportunities. And I think from a marketing standpoint, these smaller creators are like, they got to be the best money ever spent because people overlook them.
Yeah.
And the smaller creators would appreciate that opportunity. Like you give them $1,000 to advertise your product, they're going to be stoked by it.
Absolutely.
And you get, in my opinion, a huge arbitrage for the value that they're bringing. I think you're underpaying.
For sure.
And I think they would be happy with it. And so I think there are all these opportunities out there for smaller creators with niche interests. Also, this is a random one. I've been getting recommended all of this recovering addict videos. I don't know why, but people just telling their story, and these are almost brand new channels of like, hey, I suffered from alcoholism for 20 years. Here's my story. And they just sit and talk. And that video somehow has like 100,000 views.
Wow.
They've monetized their channel, and they can help other people who are interested in that. And YouTube just is recommending videos all the time. Every time you refresh your page, you get a new video from YouTube.
Wow.
It's like it's that incredible. It's just trying to match you with the best video possible.
And what would you target for a small channel? What is a lot of money? What do you think a full-time, a creator of a fish channel or coral or whatnot? Is it 50 grand? When you say a lot of money, what's
a lot of money? I would classify as more than 100,000.
Okay, so 6 figures. I would say that, definitely.
But I think most people would be able to somewhat either replace or quit their job 50 to 60 grand a year.
That probably makes sense.
And be able to control their time.
Yeah, and then more focus because you don't have that 8-hour commitment, and then you can get that extra sponsor or whatever and take that to 6 figures.
100%.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
If you have the passion for making videos. And
that's the key. That is the key that I keep telling folks is if you have, I talk to a lot of 50-year-olds because I'm 53, even 40-year-olds. And I'm like, you probably have a hobby for the last 20 years that you love. And if you just found a way to make content on that, trust me, there's an audience, there's a community for you. There's a living there, right? Where it could be Star Wars, Cabbage Patch Kids, Pokemon card, whatever it is, right? If you have a true passion for something that you call a hobby, there's a channel waiting to be made. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, any collectible you could imagine. There's a YouTube channel that exists that talks about that thing, and they make $100,000 a year, and you would have no idea.
Yeah, it's
there's so many different businesses that you could spin off from that. You could have your own email newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
You could take people to Twitter. You could grow your Instagram. I mean, there are so many possibilities that I think, hey, maybe long term, you have a larger portion of the population that they're these like micro creators where they make 50 to 70 grand a year in these little tiny communities, and
but
you
they're
have no
like
idea.
the best at whatever
the best
that
at
is.
The best, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. What are some things that new creators often get wrong?
They think they're going to make money. That's probably
day one.
That, or they think it's going to be easy, or they do it for the money. You could never do it for the money. Every single time I see someone being like, oh, I'm going to make a YouTube channel because I can make a lot of money doing it, they never make money.
No.
Ever. I've never seen someone successful who went in with the money. Everyone that I saw who actually made a lot of money was like, I'm just doing this and it's fun and I enjoy it. And I just happen to make $1 million a year. But they never do that with the intention. They're always surprised.
Yeah.
When they go like, oh my gosh, I start making money from this. That's so cool. But it's never the goal.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things. And then it's also like consistency, and then really being objective if your channel sucks. And like really looking at it and critiquing yourself. And not getting disappointed if no one watches your videos, but looking objectively is like, why aren't they watching my videos? Because I guarantee it's not you. It's your packaging.
Yeah.
It's your title, it's your thumbnail, it's your delivery, maybe the editing. It's something is not attracting a large audience. And it's not like a personal thing that YouTube is like, hey, it's a bad haircut. We don't like that. We're not going to push your video. Yeah. Or like, hey, you have a stutter. And because of that stuff, we're not going to push it. It's always like something within the video itself or the packaging.
Yeah, because I agree with that entirely. It's amazing when you create content, something you're passionate about. Even if you and ah and you're not crisp and clean, your audience will find you, right? But you can always improve and get better. I'm curious, when you look at your YouTube analytics, what are like the one or two things that you kind of zoom in on to see if a video is performing or not performing to your expectations?
Yeah, the first thing I do is comments. So when I first post a video, I should have a clear understanding of how it's going to do 1 to 10.
Okay.
And when I post a video and I know it's going to be a long tail, and it could be, why your first $100,000 is like so important, or like some sort of video like that, I know it's going to be a 10. I know it's going to be a 9, maybe an 8, at the best case scenario.
Okay.
And what that means for those unaware is that a 10 is your worst performing video of the last 10.
Correct.
A 1 is your best. And so I know when I post those videos, it's going to not perform well. Then I have videos that I'm like, this is breaking news. But maybe it's not like widely appealing. I kind of know going in, that's probably going to be a 6, a 5. And then I have the videos where I know this is going to be big. And when Trump's 50-year mortgage came out, I knew that was a 1 out of 10. I was so sure of it because Trump in the title, Trump in the thumbnail, 50-year mortgage, real estate, like all of those are things where it's like each one of those on their own would perform well, and you combine them. Like anything Trump in the title, thumbnail, breaking news event that affects people, number 1, always. And so I go in with that expectation. From there, when I post the video, I just see how many comments I get. And I'm there responding to all the comments, always for the first hour.
Interesting.
And I notice within a few minutes, if I don't get a lot of comments.
So what's your schedule? So you post at the same time, right?
No. Now I've been switching it up.
Okay. So let's just pretend you do Tuesday at noon. Let's just pretend.
Sure.
You're watching the comments from noon to 1 p.m. is what you just said.
Always.
Okay. So you post it, you're on your computer. Now you're just waiting?
I'm responding to comments.
Okay.
So, but I keep a mental note of like, how many comments am I getting per minute? And I look at it like when it says like 20 seconds ago, 27 seconds ago. If I refresh and it's like 1 second ago, 7 seconds ago, 10 seconds ago, 15 seconds ago, I know that's going to be a great video.
Okay.
But if I refresh and it's like 1 minute ago, and then I
interesting.
refresh again and it's like 50 seconds ago, I'm not getting a lot of comments.
Okay.
And that means that not a lot of people clicked on the video.
Interesting.
And so what I'll do is I'll give it 5 to 10 minutes before making any changes, just because sometimes it's just like YouTube won't send out notifications that quick.
Yeah.
And so I like to give it the 10.
Okay.
If after 10 minutes I see that I'm not getting a lot of comments, I check the views. And I know just after 10 minutes how many views will lead to a good video over 30 minutes. And a lot of it depends on the initial click-through.
Got it.
So if I realize that I'm not getting a lot of comments, not a lot of click-through, the views are lower than expected, it's a title issue. Because people in that first 15-minute window are only clicking on the title. They're not looking at the thumbnail. So I know it's a title issue, which makes it very easy for me that all I have to do is just fix the title.
Okay, title first. Got it.
And that's when I'll sit there and I'll try a title and I wait 5 minutes. Try a title and I wait 5 minutes. And I look at the real-time views.
Sure.
And I just see, do I get a spike up? Does it dip? Most of the time when I change a title, I see a spike up. And if I'm happy with that spike up, I leave it.
Okay.
And then I keep responding to comments, and
That's
then I see
interesting.
how it is out of 1 to 10. If it's within the expected range, if it's a 7, I'm like, yeah, it's probably a 7. I leave it.
Okay.
But if it's still not doing well, then I think maybe it could be the title. Or sorry.
The thumbnail.
Maybe it could be the thumbnail. And so sometimes I'll tinker with thumbnails. But
Okay.
the A/B testing of thumbnails really has eliminated that because I'm able to test multiple thumbnails and just let YouTube decide.
So how many do you create now? 3?
I always do 3 to 7.
Oh, wow.
So really what I do is I'll typically come up with like 10 different thumbnails.
Okay.
And it could be very small changes. It could be a facial change. It could be a text change. It could be a background change, like very different changes, but I'll come up with like 3 variations.
Got it.
And then I run it through ChatGPT and I just say, give me the highest CTR thumbnail that would cause people to click as soon as possible. Rank them 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. And it'll rank them for me. And I wouldn't say it's great, but I would say it just gives me a direction. And when I have that direction, I'll pick 3 from those that I agree with, put them in YouTube. And I would say ChatGPT is probably 60% accurate. So it makes pretty drastic mistakes.
Okay.
But when I compare what it said would do the best with what YouTube says is the best, sometimes it's off, sometimes it's good. But I use it as just a tool to give me a general direction. And that's really what I do. And I just try to constantly optimize. And it's really that first 2 hours you get the most immediate feedback. Like when you make these changes after day 3, nothing. After day 1, it's really not a big difference, but it's within the first 2 hours
Okay.
where YouTube is pushing. You're able to change the title thumbnail and see immediate, within minutes, feedback. And so that's what I rely on.
That's good to know. You remember I think it was 6 months ago, I think I sent you a text with some of my YouTube analytics. Mm-hmm. I think the numbers were 75% of my viewers were subscribers and 25% were not. You remember this text? And you were very kind, and you gave back some feedback that I needed to branch out, right? Because if my audience is going to grow, I had to branch out and get new viewers, not the loyal ones, right? So for 6 weeks, I went, I'll call it negative, right? I leaned into the doomer headlines and the doomer thumbnails, and I want to tell you it worked. I got 110,000 more views, which for my channel is about a 30% jump in a month. So it worked. However, I stopped it because of the comments. What I realized was the community that I had built were positive go-givers. They believed. They were all relatively the same, kind of like, I'm going to build wealth by doing this. And when I went negative, I invited this whole new camp of poison with people who had already quit and given up and whined and complained and bitched and the system's broken and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, Graham was right. I got a lot more views, but I don't like where they came from. I'm out.
How was the rest of the video, though? Because here's the thing: is that
video didn't change at all.
Same tone,
everything
same
was the
sort
same.
of optimistic spin.
Everything
it's
was
just the title thumbnail.
Just the title thumbnail and the opening matched the title.
You don't think that you can convert some of those people?
I probably could. I could probably convert, and I did convert some, but it's like 10% maybe. I just didn't want that toxic negativity in my life. I don't like I said to you earlier in the video, I believe we're losing hope. And if you don't have hope, I'm not here for you. I can't help you. Right? If you don't know there's a light switch there to turn on the light, I'm not going to convince you that. Go live in the dark. I don't care.
See, here's the thing. I think a lot of people need that wake-up call, though. Like, when you say you could get how to get a Lamborghini, maybe that's too positive, though. But, I think a lot of people would never know about something, and they wouldn't click on the video to begin with unless you lead with something that they could relate to. And if that's negativity, it gets them in the door. And then once they're in the door, you could say, well, you could dollar cost average. Here are the opportunities. Here's this, here's that. And yes, some people will never change, but you would never have gotten those people to begin with who would change. And so I see your perspective.
Yeah.
I will push back that I think some of those people will see the light at the end of the tunnel that they never would have seen.
Repetition matters
if they
for
just
sure.
didn't see that kind of doomsday, something that they could relate to, that just pushes them in that direction. And then you could hey, here's how you could change.
Again, there is no question that when I went negative for 6 weeks with your guidance, the pool of people I was touching grew. There's no question. It's just that I added 40% of people that I didn't want to be around. So I went right back, and I'm like, I'm just not going to grow very fast.
Yeah.
And
that is totally fine.
For me, back to your earlier point, happy life.
Yeah.
I don't need any. Life is hard enough.
Yeah.
I don't want to invite that. I mean, how do you deal with that?
See, it's funny. I don't get the negative comments.
Oh,
it's like my comment section is so overwhelmingly positive.
That's awesome.
And what's funny is that sometimes I'll post a video either critical of Trump or complimenting something he's done, and then people think that I'm anti-Trump or I'm pro-Trump or something like that. That is the most negative that I see.
Yeah, anything
Somebody's
Trump in the word.
You voted for this, or this is what you get, or this is awesome. But I wouldn't even call that a negative.
No,
necessarily. But I guess I don't get a lot of the negative
that's
comments,
good.
or they're buried in the sea of just positive.
They don't
ones
come in the first day; they come in the third day.
Right?
Or something.
Yeah. I would say the most negative comment I get is probably people saying, he said this before. Let me guess. Dollar cost average into an index fund. It's probably the most negative comment that I receive.
Good.
But overall, I'd rather it just be consistent.
Yeah, I like it. So what you've interviewed a lot of big names that most people would be envious to talk to. I'm curious, what have been lessons learned about money, investing, growing that you've taken away from some of the big names?
Everyone's got a different way to make money. I mean, it really goes to show you don't need
there's no one thing. Yeah.
There's no one path out there that you could take. It's really it
love
comes
that.
in all shapes and sizes. People are good. You just have to find the thing that you everyone really seems to be into whatever they're doing. I don't really meet a lot of people who are I just kind of do this. It pays the bills.
Right. They love the thing they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they exist, and we just wouldn't have them on the podcast.
Sure.
But everyone we have on is usually pretty exceptional in whatever they do, or just a really interesting person. Like even look at, we had on recently Ian Bick.
Okay.
And he ended up going to jail, and now he makes a living telling a story about going to jail and interviewing other people who have been to jail. And it's fascinating. It's eye-opening. He's a fantastic speaker. He's extremely talented. And he was able to carve a niche that like you wouldn't even think would exist. And obviously, he's like very motivated, very talented, and he has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And so it's like, no wonder he's successful and doing as well as he is. But I'm just saying, it's just like, that's not something you would think of where it's like, okay, you now have a criminal record. And most people would think, oh, my life is ruined.
Right.
Ian's like, I'm going to go on TikTok and talk about this. He built a following there. He's like, you know what? So many people are interested in this that now I'm going to interview people.
Nice.
It just goes to show you, like, there's something out there.
Well,
No
I think
matter
this is beautiful. I mean, this ties back to what we talked about earlier. Again, if you find whatever you're passionate about, and again, back to the 40 and 50-year-olds, I promise you have something that you've loved for decades. There's a path for you there, right? If you have a passion, you could do something.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh, there's even a guy who gives updates at Disneyland. Like he
Really?
literally, yes, he has a whole channel where he goes and talks about different rides, and he's like, this one's under construction, and here's what they have planned. That dude probably makes a living.
Probably.
Going to Disneyland every day and just giving updates of what's going on at the park.
That's awesome.
There's also plenty of channels I see out there that just give Tesla updates.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, this new Tesla just launched in China. Here are the specs on it. And somehow, like 3 times a week, there's a video updating on
Something.
what Tesla's doing. And I guarantee he's probably making $200,000 to $300,000 a year.
That's amazing.
Like, so like anything.
Yeah.
Anything you could talk about online, just make money from it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm curious, as we wrap up 2025 and head into 2026, where do you think the economy is?
Oh, man. I would say a lot of people believe it's strong. I seem to think it's a bit of a K-shaped
Sure.
economy. The people who are doing well are really doing well. Like, I know quite a few people who are so flush with cash. They're making more money than they ever have before. They're doing really well. And other people who seem to be really struggling. And it seems like the people who have assets, who have the money, who can invest, are really getting ahead. It's great for them. And everyone else is somewhat getting left behind. I tend to think it's hard to justify some of these AI valuations. And so I'm being a little bit more conservative. But at the same time, I would have benefited from being more invested in the markets over the last few years.
Sure.
So I tend to think it can't keep going up forever.
For sure.
Without a dip. But it seems like any time that something starts getting shaky, they just throw money at it. And they just
Turn on the money printer.
and they inflate the national debt. So do we really have a free market anymore? It seems like since 2008, they step in, they fix the economy, they print money. 2020 happened. The market, went down.
over,
The
yeah.
economy shuttered, and they threw money at it. And so it seems like no matter what problem we get, it's just throw money at it, and you don't really have the markets working objectively without
Yeah.
hands in it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think housing will crash? I mean, a lot of crash bros, I call them doomers, thinking housing is going to crash in 2026. Now here I'm talking residential real estate. Do you think there's a housing crash on the horizon?
No, I think housing prices are softening, and I've seen that throughout the Vegas market, throughout the Los Angeles market. My house only sold so well because I priced it low. I priced it what I thought would be about $200,000 below asking, just knowing that would get a lot of activity, we'd get a bidding war, and that at the end of the day would yield the highest price than just asking high. But I'm seeing a lot of properties sit on the market. They're not selling unless they're priced really well. So it could be a softening, but it could also be that just people are asking stupid prices. Like I see a lot of places.
Wish pricing.
Yeah, I see a lot of places in Vegas where I see that you bought it for, let's call it $1 million 6 years ago, and now you think it's worth 3.5. No. But they just price it at that, and they think that sets the price. It doesn't. So I see a lot of that, and then I see quite a lot of price reductions, like $1 million price reductions. Floyd Mayweather is trying to sell his house in Las Vegas, $14.5 million.
Wow.
And so far, he just wasn't able to sell it. And he cut it $1 million and $1 million and $1 million. Still hasn't sold it. And now he's asking like $8.5 million.
Graham, why aren't you writing an offer, man?
Yeah, if they took like 6, I would take it. I would take the house for 6. It's beautiful. It's 14,000 square feet.
Is it in McDonald's Highlands?
No.
Okay.
It's outside. It's in Southern Highlands.
Oh, Southern Highlands. Okay,
Yeah,
I know where that is.
It's a beautiful community. Like everything about this house is perfect. It's custom.
Well, I don't know why you haven't written an offer yet.
I don't want to piss him off.
Yeah, you think he's going to come find you?
Imagine you write a $6 million offer and you run into him. And he's like, wait a second.
You're that guy?
That's the dude who lowballed my property that I spent $10 million
Well,
on.
you know one thing for sure. He's trying to sell and he's motivated. And, oh, by the way, it's the winter. Not a lot of buyers. I don't know why you don't write an offer.
He has the
at $6
money
million.
to hold it. That's the thing. With a lot of these proproperties, they have the money just
He
to
could also be
float
done with it.
Definitely.
He could also just be, I'm out.
You think he would just take that big of a
He
loss?
could. I mean, is he going to look at it as a loss?
I mean, the thing is, I don't need 14,000 square feet. But,
First off,
everything,
nobody needs 14,000
but
square feet.
at the right price,
Yeah.
I'll buy anything.
Of course.
If, like, you show me like a dog turd on the side of the road and you say, hey, at that price, like at the right price,
There's a number for
everything
everything.
makes sense to buy, even if I don't want it.
Yeah. No,
If it's a good deal, I buy it.
you're not licensed in Vegas, right?
No.
So just call an agent. I know a guy who can take care of you. He'll
Oh
write it up for
yeah,
you.
I use.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, no, I know plenty of guys.
Just teasing.
Yeah. Cool.
So I'm curious, what thoughts about money you had early in life that maybe evolved over time, or are all they just the same?
Yeah, it really just like in the beginning, and really up until about a year ago, I would optimize really for ROI, and I just look at whatever gets the highest yield, even if it's not that much money. So, like as an example, if I know that I could turn $100 into $200, that's 100% ROI.
Sure.
It's better than I could get anywhere else. So I'll do anything to get that ROI, even
Got
though
it.
it's $100. And I'll overlook other things where it's like, hey, I could turn 10,000 into 11,000.
Right.
But that's a lower ROI. So I would spend all this time being like, oh, if I did this, I could squeeze out like a 15%. And if I did this, I could squeeze out the 20%. But it would require me to spend so much time and
Got it.
mental energy and effort. It's like doing some extra remodeling on houses, and it's like, okay, well now it's empty. I do these things, and I coordinate this, and now I could. It's like the amount of stress and hassle. It was really what flipped my mind, and maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Is that damn ADU that I decided to build in Los Angeles because I thought I could get a 12% cash on cash return
I
with
remember.
zero money out of pocket. So it's an indefinite return because I could borrow the money at like 4.6%. I could make 14%. I get a free 10% return. And all I got to do is just build this ADU and
Right.
like I got free time. Let me do it. The amount of stress that I've been like have been under because of that ADU, and it's never ending. And it keeps going. And it got to the point like maybe it's a Floyd Mayweather sort of deal where I just want to dump it. I want to dump it.
You take it
It's
over.
like, seriously, if I could just walk away with my down payment, I would do it because I just don't want to deal with it anymore. And
hassle,
I just want to be done with it. It's so much of a pain in the ass. And it really wasn't until that that I started optimizing for peace of mind. It was because of that. It was because I was so stressed out.
Interesting.
I was so stressed out about that, and it was affecting my ability to focus. It was affecting my ability
Wow.
to sleep because I was so upset and fixated on why is the city doing this? What's the delay? Why is this happening?
Not again.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, well, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Right. What's
know?
what's the other
And
shoe
it's
going to
just-
drop?
Yeah, and so it's just like, and it's still never ending. It's still going. And now I'm looking at this now I have to do it because I'm in so deep that to permit this unit, to be able to sell it, I got to finish it.
Yeah.
So now the only way out of it is through it. And so I'm just,
How far in do you think you are? Wild guess. 50%? You think you're 50% through?
what's funny is that it took only 2.5 months to build the whole thing.
Okay.
And I am 2 months stalled 100%. No progress because of the city.
So it's done, but they're not giving you
The permit.
Occupancy?
Yeah, they claim because the sewer lateral was cracked, and it was cracked because of the city-owned street, the city-owned tree. And so I got to fix the sewer lateral. And so that's $22,000 to fix that. And I pushed back initially because that $22,000
That's not nothing.
It's pre-existing. The ADU's done, and it's from the city-owned tree. Push back on that. They say, no, it's mandatory. And then I say, okay, how about this? Just permit the ADU so I can have a tenant move in, and then I'll do it. No, you got to do it. So pulling the permits, they send someone else out, and that someone else says, all right, well, it's a city-owned tree, so you have to go get a permit with urban forestry.
Because it's a city tree.
And guess what? Urban forestry takes 60 days to pull the permit. And then on top of that, because you have to trim the roots to the city-owned tree, you also have to replace your entire sidewalk.
Yeah.
The entire thing. And so I don't know how much that's. My guess, this is going to cost me an extra $40,000.
Probably.
Just to do that, just to be able to permit the ADU. And that's not even counting other things that they could say.
Sure.
And I don't know where it's going to end. There was another one, too, that we had to completely demo. I had this whole walkway paved, but there is a drop-off because it was a little sloped. There's a drop-off of, I think it was about 1.25 inches, or maybe about 1 inch.
Okay.
And the city says you can't have a drop-off of more than like 0.75 inches.
Oh, wow.
And so I literally got there with like a measuring tape, and I saw it was a little over, and we demoed the whole thing because I didn't want to have a delay.
Wow.
The whole thing. And it's funny, that didn't delay it. It was the sewer line, but I got ahead of that one.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, it was 1 inch.
Yeah.
And the whole thing. And the tenant is totally fine. That inch is not, it's like not going to be that big of a difference between like
No.
0.75 and 1 inch and a little give. It's like kids used to play on the playground without any like issues, and they'd
We
fall.
rode our bikes without helmets.
Right, and they would fall, and they would just scrape their knee, and it's fine. Why? Why do we have to do this? Like, same with like, for the longest time, there didn't exist seatbelts, and people would just drive in their car. And now it's like, oh, that inch is too much on a walkway. That's like, come on. Like, we've gotten so restrictive that it pisses people off. It costs so much money. And it's just not worth it.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
you have no choice but to finish it.
Right. So my thought is that, okay, maybe I lose $50,000. Maybe this is what I needed to make changes in my life that maybe either make that back, or they change my life for the better, or
Yeah,
like that's how
quality
I'm
life.
viewing this.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm trying not to get too upset about it, but when I think about it, I do get upset. But I'm just trying to think, hey, this is a lesson.
Yeah.
I needed to learn, and it cost $50,000, and I'm just gonna learn that lesson, and it's cheaper than a private university, and I got a great like real life
story. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm making video on it.
Of
So
course.
like I'm gonna make some money back in the video, and maybe if I get another video back, I'd like recoup half of the cost. I don't know. We'll see.
If you weren't doing YouTube today, what do you think you'd be doing?
Like for job or just like day to day
income or whatever. Would you be an entrepreneur?
I don't know what I do. I don't know. Realistic. If all my YouTube channels got deleted, the first thing I do is just travel for a year. Realistically, I just again I'd see that as like, okay, that's a sign. I got to go and like travel. So I'd probably travel, and then I'd get bored, and then I'd try and figure something out. I don't know.
Do you think you're an entrepreneur? Like when you sit back, are you an entrepreneur?
No. I think if I get fixated on something, I'll just like do that thing, whatever it is. But I could just get fixated on random stuff.
Right.
Maybe I just collect things. I don't know. Yeah.
What do you think there's something about you that the audience gets wrong about you?
Gets wrong about? I mean, I'm usually pretty forthright with everything.
Okay.
Like usually with me, you know what you get. Gets wrong.
Do you think people think you're cheap?
Yeah, but they're right. Like,
Yeah, but they're right.
I've loosened up a lot. But all that's like a very conscious. Like I have to think. Like I'll give you an example. Earlier today, I was at Target with Macy, and she wants these pillows. We're doing up the guest bedroom, the podcast room.
Yep.
And we're making the podcast room nice. And I'm buying all the stuff for the podcast room the new guest bedroom, and I'm not cheap, but I'm very price conscious. Like the bed set, we got it at a discount with Wayfair. It was like $250.
Okay.
The nightstands, I got a good deal with this Amazon Black Friday deal. And so those were good. And like all these things, I found a good thing on Wayfair. Like I've been using a lot of Wayfair.
Okay.
And we go to Target, and she wants to get like bedding for the bed. And there are these 2 pillows, and they're $59
each
for decorative pillows. Like not
even to sleep on.
Not even useful. And my first inclination was just, we don't need those. And so she was like, what do you think about these pillows? I'm like, we don't need those. Which is the truth.
Sure.
And she said, well, what if we have a guest and they're in the bedroom and they want to like sit up on the bed and watch TV? And I'm thinking, no,
Is that what a real pillow's for?
we're not gonna. Yeah, well, the guests that we would have over anyway are not in their room watching
they're
TV
out
alone.
with
They're never doing that. And then I thought, okay, well, these pillows are gonna make her really happy. She's gonna feel good about the room. And is the $59 in the big picture going to be that big of? Am I going to notice?
It's $118.
Yes, it is. Am I really going to notice that? And the answer was no. I'm not going to notice it. It's going to make her happy. She's going to feel better about the room. I'm just going to.
Yes, dear.
And I bought the pillows.
Good.
I'm thinking about the pillows now, and I was thinking about them on the way here. And so I thought that's not the right price, and I just did it anyway because it makes my life easier.
I think
she's
you have
happy.
evolved.
So, and here's another one. This is another one too. I wanted a light fixture installed in the ceiling,
Sure.
in that room, and we have tall ceilings. They're like 10 feet tall, and I got the light fixture. I put it all together myself, and I was going to install it myself. I'm too short to reach the very top.
Yeah.
Unless I stood on the very top little ledge of the ladder. And so I got as close as I could, and I started to do this, and I realized I didn't feel safe on the ladder, and I thought
dangerous.
maybe I fall. But I know how to install these lights. Like I've installed these lights before,
Sure,
but not on that height. And so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to get an electrician to do this. $220 to get an electrician to come. And it took him 20 minutes to do the thing. Licensed and all that great stuff. And I thought, when I got that quote initially, my first thought was, I'm going to shop this around. I'm going to text all my other electrician buddies, because I think that job is worth about 110, 115, give or take.
Yeah, okay.
Not 220.
Okay.
220 was on the high end. But then I thought, you know what? What's the point of this if it's not going to make my life easier?
Right.
And so I just said yes to the 220. And then Jason Oppenheim always said that when he does that, he just takes the bid, pays it, because he knows that they're going to make better use of that 220 than I would.
Exactly.
And so for them, that 220 is like that's a good day of work. For me, it's less than that. So
And you probably also save time following up and doing all these other things where you could divert your time somewhere else.
Yeah. So I just paid it. So stuff like that has been the biggest change.
Yeah, because that's different. I would not have guessed you did that 3 years ago.
I wouldn't have done that. That light would not have been installed, and those pillows would not have existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I try to optimize for that. And I now on my phone, I have like this thing that comes up. Let's see. So like I follow this every day.
Wow.
And I just think of all decisions, is it going to give me the 80-20 result?
Okay.
Does it add complexity
And
to
it's
my life?
right on your home screen.
Oh, yeah. I see it every day, all the time, like multiple times a day.
Can you screenshot that for me
Yeah.
and send it over?
Yeah. And then
That's pretty cool.
I think to myself,
And when did you create that? Sorry.
the ADU situation. Yeah, when that was really upsetting me so much. I'm like, I never got to do this. I'm never going to do this again. And like, how do I remind myself, because I forget?
Right.
Or what'll end up happening is that I'll get through this, rent it out, get a good return, and then I'll be like, well, that wasn't so bad. I could do that again. Everything is fine, whatever. And I just keep doing it.
Right.
But if it's anything that adds hassle, complexity, stress, I don't do it.
Okay.
And then I spend money if it's going to make my life easier, if it's going to add convenience, and it brings peace of mind. And then for other little annoyances, I just think, stay calm, don't take anything personally,
Nice.
and then focus on gratitude daily. And I've been following that. Like, here's another example is that I'm going up to visit my mom in December for the holidays. And I hate going to airports. I hate all that stuff. But they had a JSX flight that was going from Vegas to Oakland. Mm-hmm. And then it was like an hour from Oakland to see her. And the JSX flight was like an extra $150 more than the Southwest flight. But it's $150 there, $150 back. And so it's like $370 more for what's essentially the same thing.
Sure.
But I thought I would look forward to more going and seeing my mom if I knew I didn't have to get on an airplane and like go through TSA and like wait in line, all that sort of stuff. And I just thought, okay, for that extra $300, I'm not going to be as stressed. So when I arrive, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I just had to get to the airport early and there's a delay and like I had to go manage my, like, it just, I'll pay it. I'll pay it. Even though I really I was actually looking at how far away JSX was from the airport and like to get a rental car, like what would be faster and the value of my time and like breaking it down, how much more I'm spending, which is probably not healthy, but I just did it.
One of the things we talked about in first time we talked was you admitted you were still deathly afraid of losing everything.
Oh yeah.
Is that still there?
Less.
Oh, that's good. That was unhealthy.
I think, yeah. When was that? When did we record
Probably
that?
3 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago.
Oh yeah, the market's up a ton since then. So I got way more investments to fall back on.
Okay.
So that's alleviated. And I've now that I'm slowly starting to unload this real estate, that was just hanging over my head, like these stupid repairs. It's like just dropping 40 grand on a hand, like that, just because someone says, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. And so I feel safer not having these liabilities, what I call them, just hanging over.
So I have a school community called One Rental at a Time.
Yeah.
And I told them I told them 3 hours ago that I was going to come see you. And I said, what question would you ask? So
Cool.
I expect these to be very real estate oriented,
Cool.
but I'll go through a few of them.
Yeah.
Looking back at real estate's growth phase, so this is 10 years ago for you, what mistakes cost you the most? Charlie Munger says, we're trying to be consistently not stupid. So how should investors act during their growth phase while adding properties?
The thing is, I've been so conservative with my real estate investments that I have not lost money. The only time I lost money was honestly this project that I took on. Now, I would have made more money. Now, this is all stuff in hindsight, though, that you couldn't have told me at the time. But I guess this is somewhat. When I started buying my duplexes, I thought to myself, what is my monthly cost going to be? And how could I save as much money as possible? Mm-hmm. And when I bought those duplexes, I thought, okay, I could move in the one side, I rent out the other, my cost is low. In hindsight, believe it or not, I would have been better off buying single-family homes because those went up so much in value versus my multifamily that has done squat. Mm. And so even though I looked at that and being like, I'm saving this money up front, in hindsight, I should have spent more money up front, but I would have made 4 times more just buying a single family home down the street for $100,000 more. But that's also like in hindsight, you don't really know. If interest rates stayed low, I mean, there's a time and a place. So,
all right.
Beyond that, though, not cheaping out. What was it? A while ago, I hired cheap roofers, and I had to go and fix everything that they messed up.
Yes.
Because I saw like, oh, they're only charging $7, where the other guy's $11. Should have gone with the better
11.
bid, where they're more competent.
Yeah, sometimes cheap is cheap for a reason.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely. So we know he doesn't like investing in real estate anymore. But if he were to start over his wealth journey, what would you do, or what would he do?
See, the thing is, real estate got me into investing, but it didn't. It made me money, but it's so inconsequential compared to everything else that I've done. It wouldn't have been. I mean, the thing is, it's like, yeah, going from like $0 to $1 million was all real estate. But going from one to everything else has not been from real estate. It's been from like investment gains and YouTube income. Mm-hmm. And the real estate at a certain point started, I felt, holding me back just as like a mental thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like if I went back in time, the real estate worked out well. I think going forward, there's just less opportunity that I see for someone who's not willing to give it 100%. What was the question again?
Basically, how would you start over today, basically? Like if you were starting to try to build wealth today, what would you do?
I would be finding something online. I think there's so many opportunities online to find
So
something.
generate active income, take that active income, invest the delta or whatever you're nominating.
Yeah, I think you're going to get the best yield by far spending more time and effort on the thing that you're good at.
Okay.
And doubling down on that. But I think right now, just the opportunity online is huge.
Okay.
Opportunity to arbitrage your location is also really big. That when you're operating online, we could be in the middle of nowhere. We could be in the cheapest area possible, saving all the money. Or even, renting, again, a bedroom in New York City for cheap while still running something, I think is important.
It's kind of the same question, but we'll ask it anyway. What do you think is the most untapped opportunity to build wealth? Again, online?
I tend to think it's online because that's the only place that you could really be your own boss. The barrier to entry is so low. It's so cheap. Yes, that means anyone could do it, but like when you really think about the average effort most people are putting in, it's so subpar. And their attention is scattered and their brain is mushed from just like watching Instagram reels all day. It's like, I really don't think the competition is there. Like there's no competition.
Yeah, isn't it Alex Hormozy says it's easy to be a beast today, right? It's easy to beat the 1% or be in the 1% because nobody works or something like that.
Yeah, and doing that is free too. Just like imagine showing up on time. Don't get distracted.
Be a good person.
Just be a good person. Be honest.
Yeah.
Be
Do
blunt.
what you say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, following through. It's
so
just like
simple.
Stuff like this is free, and just if you do that, like it'll cost you nothing.
I like it. I don't know if you think this will happen, but I'll ask the question. What will happen if the U.S. dollar is no longer the standard? Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it's certainly a possibility. The thing is, right now, there are no solid alternatives.
Correct.
So the U.S. still has a lot of dominance for probably a lot longer. Will it happen? Maybe. But if it doesn't have the dominance, I think it'll probably be overtaken by whatever other currency is next up, with a mix between Bitcoin, gold. Maybe there's like a digital dollar or something. What I think is going to happen is probably the alternatives gain more popularity, and so the dollar declines naturally from that. But there are so many other alternatives that there might not be like
clear
this one
dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Now that you've made work optional for life, what are your next long-term goals?
Travel would be like the next one.
That's awesome.
Definitely traveling more.
What would you call a life well lived?
I think when you wake up every day excited.
Like that.
Look, when you have something you're looking forward to always.
Yep. What is your opinion on the trend in real estate and how it will play out in the next 10 years? Oh, that people aren't expecting. Is this probably like roommates, things of that nature? Do you think rent by room or?
You know what? Someone we were talking to recently said that they think their theory is that housing prices are going to collapse.
Really?
Because, and this is over 10, 20 years.
Okay.
So a long-term decline in housing. Because we're going to find ways to produce them so cheaply that we could have 3D printed homes. AI could theoretically spin up something perfect that complies with local zoning.
Sure.
Another AI approves it because it knows all the requirements. You send it off to be pre-assembled by some sort of 3D printing model, or you see some where they're like a cement sort of like foam thing. So I think, man, if there's an option where you could cut out all the architects and all the things like this, all the permitting fees, that alone will save $50,000 to $100,000.
Certainly.
And then you think, can I 3D print this? Can this be prefab? Can we come in and just do like sewer, electric, plumbing, things like this, finishes? I've even seen these like robots that lay floors. Robots would be able to do like good tile. So there is a universe where if you find a plot of land, you could get the house approved in a day. You could 3D map, walk through your entire house with all the finishes you want. It could be pre-assembled by thousands of robots that work 24/7. And then all you have to do is piece it together, which probably could be accomplished with 30 robots and like 10 people making sure the robots are working. And then think of what that would do for the value of houses. Like everyone would now start to undercut each other. And you would start to say, well, why would I buy that home from the 1920s when I could buy this brand new house for a third of the cost? And it's brand new and it's mine. Like maybe things become so cheap to produce that Americans have so much discretionary income that they could boost the economy even more. I mean, that it's possible.
Yeah, I like it. What would you recommend for a good side hustle to get more monthly income to save for investing as a full-time employee in Family Man in 26?
Man, there's no good side hustles. The thing is, you end up spending more time on the side hustle than what it's worth. And so I would tend to think the best side hustle is probably just a really well-paying part-time job that you could do because it's guaranteed income. You don't have to get good at it. There's not like this steep learning curve to start something new. That's probably right now the best side hustle unless you're just like really into a hobby and you could find a way to monetize it.
Yeah. So I didn't watch this interview, but somebody asked about an interview with, I'm going to say Sahil Bloom.
Sahil Bloom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently in that interview, he challenged you to not think about money for a month. Do you remember this or no?
Yeah, not think about the cost, just
Okay.
to be able to do things.
Okay. So did that ever happen? Did you ever?
No. But again, I'm getting better
You're certainly
at
getting
it.
better,
I'm
yes.
getting better at it. It's like when there's a cold pool, I'm never the one to jump in and like get it over with. I dip my toe in. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cold. I dip my foot in. I'm like, oh, that's freezing.
still cold, yeah.
And then I very slowly just like get in and I stretch this process longer than it should than if I just jumped in.
But eventually you get in.
Eventually I get in.
Yeah.
But it's a very long, drawn-out process. So that's what I'm doing with these expenses.
I like it. Yeah, I see a different side, so that's cool. Who do you think is the best real estate investor you've ever interviewed?
How would you define the best?
I guess, I don't know. That's the question.
I would say Ben Mala.
Ben
When
Mala,
I
yeah.
think of the best, I think of him.
I like that. That's a good answer.
Because he's so in it all the time.
That's what he does. He loves real estate.
And yeah, it's what he breathes. His whole family is in it. It's every
His
day.
sons, yeah.
Every day he's looking at deals. And it's fun. He sends me Las Vegas deals too. He's like, I came across this and it's like lender owned. I'll show you the last one he sent me.
Nice.
He's always looking at deals. I would say he is the most talented when it comes to like a good
Hunting, yeah.
the hunt and fixing it up and finding unique ways to make money. Like he took this second floor retail in Florida that was making no money. No one wanted to be the second floor retail.
Right.
And said, you know what, we're going to turn this into a hotel. And he got the permits for it, and he took all the retail space and turned them into hotel units. Like you walk in the front door,
Nice.
instead of it being like, some store that no one would go into,
Yeah.
now it's its own unit.
Nice.
It's got its own bathroom, and he put the plumbing throughout all of these units. And they're really nice with like a bed and a TV and a little
Genius.
microwave, a bathroom. And now they're all rented.